Meath, a game you can see live, of course, on the Sunday Game, along with the minor semi-final between Mayo and Down. That programme begins at 1:15 on RTE2. Well, looking ahead to that game between Kerry and Meath, what's the expectation like in Meath, Colm? Are people expecting a lot out of these teams?
Well, all I've been hearing since the match finished this evening was people talking about what a good Kerry-Cork final it was going to be. So it seems as if Kerry are in the final already. And, Meath, have played well, have progressed very smoothly and have improved with each passing game. Yeah. And, they're going to be a test because they're playing with great spirit and great confidence in themselves. Now, maybe it'll be a step too big with Kerry, but, I don't think there's any way that Kerry are going to roll over Meath easily. Yeah.
And Anthony, what are your thoughts on Meath?
Well, I think this Meath team, through incremental progression in the qualifiers, have brought back the traits that we would associate with Meath football. The good teams that Colm would have played on, and the Meath teams throughout the 90s. When you're playing Meath, you never got a handy possession. You always expected Meath to push you right to the limit for the full 70 minutes. There was always an honesty and a directness about Meath football, and a will to win and a desire and a hardness and a toughness about them that had been lacking in Meath for the last few seasons. But I think they're getting that back now, and they also have good forwards, good men that'll take scores. If Stephen Bray coming back now for the semi-final, huge boost. If there's a question about them, it's probably in their defence, where they've been leaking probably more scores than they should be at this stage of the competition. I would agree with Colm. I think it's probably a step too far for them this year, but they've built nicely and they've made a lot of progress in the last 6 months. Yeah,
but Tony, Kerry, on the other hand, have huge motivation because they'll want to beat Cork after what's happened earlier, won't they?
Absolutely. So will Meath. I met a Meath man coming out of work last Friday. He said, "Go and beat Tyrone because we'll beat you in the final." He says, so I'm sure there's motivation. Look, listen, it's an All-Ireland semi-final and it's so close to the All-Ireland that both teams will go hell for leather for it. Yeah. But I suppose Kerry's display the last time against Dublin, I don't know where it came from. I remember texting a friend of mine after the game, where did that performance come from? They just hit Dublin for 6. Straight away as soon as the ball was thrown in. They have some of their top players, Tom Sullivan, De Gooch, Declan O'Sullivan, Mike McCarthy coming back at centre-back. It's hard to know where that performance came from and where's Kerry's real form. Is it between the drawn game against Cork, or is it the Dublin performance, or is it somewhere in the middle? They'll have to go again in Croke Park and play at that level to know they can go up to that level again. But certainly they have forwards that can score, and when Kerry play football like that, there's nobody in the country can match them.
Yeah, well, if it was the Clare or the Sligo performance, the Longford performance, the Antrim performance, Meath are in with a chance. But on a line through Dublin, who beat Meath in the first round, and I know you can't equate that. If Kerry play like that, Meath won't beat them. So there is a line of form.
I know,
there.
but Colm, didn't, in the way Tony said, where did that Kerry performance come out of? Didn't people say that about Meath against Mayo? I mean, they came out tearing out. Yeah,
but in fairness, Meath had good performances, and it went sort of unnoticed. They beat Westmeath and Mullingar on a very wet night, and I thought they played really well then, and then they came along and beat Roscommon. And the Limerick game was no easy game. You look at the way Limerick held Cork in the Munster final and probably should have beaten them. So, for Meath to get over Limerick, and Limerick had destroyed Meath in Limerick last year, so that was a big win for Meath. And I think the Mayo performance restored a lot of pride in the ordinary Meath supporter that this was a Meath team that were going to go out and battle to the end at least. And I think, we're happy to see that, a team now fighting to the last breath.
The one thing that struck me about that game was their 6 forwards outfought and outjumped and won most of the possession from the Mayo backs. A back shouldn't let a forward win the easy ball like that, and they outfought them in every way. They went back to your days, Colm, direct ball into the full forward. I can see Joe Sheridan now drop kicking the ball 70 yards, and they just fought for it. It's very hard for a back to play on somebody like that when you know that they can catch the ball independently. I'd say the training has gone back to the old days, and as you said there, Anthony, they've gone back to the old Meath.
Yes, well, Meath never had a system, so that there's no point. and everybody knows that Meath men aren't.
Somehow I remember a 2-man full forward line and the ball being
Meath men aren't too bright. Everybody knows that. So we're going to lamp it in and hope that somebody gets it.
I hope the fact that Meath men aren't too bright has nothing to do with you being a school principal, but that's for another day. But Anthony, Meath going into it as complete underdogs has to be the perfect way to go into the game.
They're going into it They're going to take in a good shape, yeah. And I suppose if Tony's eating humble pie for that Kerry performance, I better eat a bit as well, because I didn't see that coming. I didn't know where it was, how Kerry could deliver a performance like that. I think, you know, eventually the players probably said to themselves, listen, whatever differences we have within the camp, let's set them to one side for 70 minutes. Let's play. We don't want to end our career on the way we've progressed with the Sligos and the Antrims. Let's go out and make a statement. They did that. Whether Kerry can get up to that again, it's probably unlikely that they'll play as perfect a performance as they did against Dublin. They may not need to be as good the next day to beat Meath. Hard to know with Kerry. We'll wait and see.
Would you give them the nod?
I would give them the nod, yeah.
Colin?
Oh, I'd say Kerry will win easily. I think there's no doubt about that. But I think there is, you know, a genuine fear that if the Gooch and Declan O'Sullivan and players like that are on that sort of form, there's very few players in the country could stop them.
I know, but Longford and Sligo had that fear as well. And
yeah, but Kerry were going along at that stage, you know. I definitely, they're at the top of their form now. They hit Croke Park and they seem to metamorphosise in Croke Park and turn into something that we haven't seen before. The one thing about Kerry is this: they have forwards that can get goals. They have forwards that when the pressure is really on, the likes of Declan O'Sullivan will get you scores, Gooch will get you scores. You know, they have a good solid team, and I think it's just beyond Meath this year. Like, I saw Meath in the league earlier on in the year, and they were abysmal. I couldn't believe that it's the same Meath team now.
I think that's why they're also proud of them now. That,
it's great
as Colin
to see
was
them
saying,
there, you know.
OK, well, lads, thank you for that. And you'll see it live next Sunday. As I say, a reminder of better coverage on Sunday. You can see the Sunday game live with Michael and the lads. Full coverage of the senior semi-final between Kerry and Meath and the minor semi-final, which sees Mayo take on Down.